Let's talk to the specific case that I spoke about in the introduction, the 14-year-old alleged abduction of a 14-year-old boy by his father. Can you give us a little bit more about this and what details have been established?
The details of the case are still scanty, but what we know now is that the parents of the boy live separately, and there is a order in place. In terms of that order, the father had to exercise his contact rights this past weekend, and against all the regulations for people to stay indoors and not to move around, he went and forcefully removed the boy to exercise contact.
Yeah. You know, although it is easy to use ignorance as an excuse in this particular case, it does raise the broader question of how much ordinary citizens actually understand of the rules of this lockdown, especially when it pertains to things like this. Do you feel that more education is needed?
I didn't hear it.
Petunia, let me try and repeat that one again. What I was saying was that it is easy to use ignorance as an excuse in this particular case and other cases that may arise. But the broader question is, how much do ordinary citizens actually understand of the rules of lockdown? Do you think more education is needed?
Perhaps ignorance is an issue, but as we know, ignorance of the law is not an excuse in terms of South African law. The regulations have been gazetted for public consumption, and the regulations that prohibit the movement of children during the lockdown are contained in the regulations published by the Department of Social Development. It is clearly stated, and the minister has gone on all forms of media platforms to try and publicize these regulations, because it is very, very important for everyone to abide by the regulations. The movement of children is simply prohibited, except in urgent pressing circumstances where people can approach the court for leave to go and remove the children.
You know, it is a very difficult time for people that are co-parenting at this time, and it must bring into light some of the frustrations that co-parenting must have at this time. Was this thought out a lot when it came to the fact that whoever the child was with, they stay with for the 21 days, and the other parent doesn't get to see them? How was this brought about? I mean, how did you reach this agreement?
Look, the Constitution still remains operational. In terms of our Constitution, the best interests of the child are of paramount importance. Now, any parent that exercises their parental responsibilities and rights in a responsible manner will know to protect the health interests of the child and not move them, irrespective of whether they are with the primary residential parent or with the visiting parent. The regulations are wherever the child is, they should not move. And it's 21 days. Parents can look at other methods of contact. They could Skype, where the facility is available, or telephone contact, or email, or video calling, FaceTime, all those kinds of alternative contact methods.
Yeah, we understand, and I mean, it is a completely new situation that we as a country and a world find ourselves in. So these things are obviously meant to make it easier. But if there is a case where a parent genuinely believes that their child is under threat and that there is some form or evidence that they may have that, you know, they are staying with a parent who is abusive and that they need to get the child away, what do they do in a case like this?
They should take leave of the court to remove the child, because the court will still hear matters of children in need of care. Those are classified in terms of the justice regulation as essential and urgent. So when there is concrete evidence to place before the court, a parent can approach the court and ask to remove the child. Similarly, where the primary caring parent is too ill, for instance, to continue looking after the child, the non-resident parent can always ask for leave to go and remove the child in order for them to assist with the caring of the child.
So family law services are still in full swing at this point. So that is something that they do need to be aware of. Family law services are still in full swing.
Yeah, the urgent and essential, where there is threat to safety, to life and limb, where the strong factors that indicate urgency, then the court will extend the case on an agency basis.
What about a child? What choice do they have at this point in their lives? Because they may be missing the parent. I know you said FaceTiming and Skype or whatever whatever it may be, but there are some children that feel that they miss their father or they miss their mother, and they don't want to be with the one. They want to be with the other. What say do they have in all of this?
Much as our law places importance on the voice of the child, it is actually protected by Section 10 of the Children's Act that we should hear children in every matter that they concern them, as long as the child is of sufficient maturity or old enough to express a wish. These regulations are for everyone's safety. They are aimed at saving lives, including the life of that very child. So they will be expected to heed the regulations not to move. And the social development regulations have also stated it clearly that the parents should be speaking to the children about the implications of this lockdown and how it impacts on their lives. So as to appease the children. Because yes, indeed, some children will be wondering why they are not seeing the other parent. And indeed, they are missing the other parent. So a parent should take the responsibility to assist the child to understand this difficult time.
In terms of punishment that will be brought about if, in fact, you are caught. I mean, if a father or a mother, come to an agreement and they say, listen, I'm going to pick up the kid and I don't care what the law says. If you are caught doing this, what will happen?
The disaster management regulations have prescribed penalties, and they are quite hefty penalties. They include imprisonment and with a prison sentence of up to 6 months. There are pecuniary fines where people could find themselves paying large sums of money in penalties. So it is really not in anyone's interest to be going against these regulations.
Yeah. So this is something, it certainly is something that people need to abide by because there could be harsh punishment coming their way. A lot of social workers have weighed in on this conversation and said it may not necessarily be emotionally healthy, particularly on whether it be the relationship that the child has with a parent that they are not seeing. It is going to be breaking their routine. These are things that I'm wondering if they've been brought into consideration, that well-being of the child. And I asked you a little bit earlier about, what was taken into consideration. But if we look at the child and the effects that it's going to have on them, do they weigh up? Is this something that perhaps could have been done differently?
Look, it is a question of balancing the best interest of the child. Contact with both parents is important, but a life-saving measure would take precedence over that. This is why we are encouraging parents to look at other contact methods, FaceTiming, especially for the young ones that, are not so developed linguistically. Just a few minutes of FaceTime that we just see the other parents and, it's important. It is important with contact with both parents. But we also need to keep the children safe from this national pandemic.
Yeah, indeed. Petunia, we thank you very, very much for talking to us here on the program. This is an exceptionally It's an absolute, thank you very, very much. It's an exceptionally difficult time. Petunia Seabi-Mathope is the Chief Family Advocate at the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, talking to us about co-parenting during this 21-day nationwide lockdown. And the rules that stand in place, as you've heard, and I'm sure you know by now, is that wherever the child found themselves at the beginning of the 21 days is where they stay. And if you do share that out, the law will take its course on you. So you have to leave the child. They cannot be moved from one house to the other. And also remember that if you suspect anything at play, you are entitled to approach the family law courts. They are still in service. Family law services are available, limited, but they are available. So use their services. Let's take a break. We'll see you after.